So here we are again, back with the Dream Eaters, with Mr. William Yorick, the Gravedigger, and Ursula Downs, the Explorer. So we just finished a turn, so it's one more Doom agenda and bad stuff time. So I'll start off with William as the first investigator, and he draws a furtive Zoog. Engage with the investigator at the location with the lowest fight. Well, let's have a look where William is. Well, William is on his own, so this becomes his problem, and it is a swarming creature. Oh, swarming creature. Swarming 1. So the top card of his deck becomes the swarming creature. This has retaliate and swarming 1. And then Ursula, she gets Lost in the Woods, which gains Surge, and she must make a Willpower 3 test. And if she fails, she loses 1 action and takes 1 horror. But she also has the 13th vision at the moment, which means she fails ties. So Willpower 3, she has a Willpower of 3, and none of her cards provide a bonus at the moment. Fortunately though, she has Eureka and Shortcut, so she could donate those to the test, and I think that sounds like a good idea. So Eureka, if this test is successful, she gets to search the top 3 cards of the deck and draws one of them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 3, and our chaos deck says 0, so that is a successful pass. So we discard Shortcut and we discard Eureka, and we draw the next 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Dr. Man Christopher, Hyper Awareness or Deduction. Well, I think Deduction sounds like a good idea under the circumstances. Hyper Awareness is very good if you have a lot of resources, and we already have Dr. Milan out. But I think a Deduction, where we gain additional clues, probably going to be slightly better under the current circumstances, especially given we've already got Hyper Awareness in our hand. So we discard that, and we, because it had Surge, we draw another one, and that is an Inconspicuous Zoog, which hides at any connecting location. Hunter Swarming 2. That's not so good. So let's have a think about this. I'm just going to put it here for now. Let's have a think about this. If we put it in a location where we're not, it will come and hunt us. If we put it with William, it'll immediately engage William, but William's going to be spending time killing the ancient Zoog and the Zoog that's currently on him. I think we're going to put it at this connecting location, and it is swarming 2. So that means we need 2 cards. 1, 2 to place by the side of it. My plan is William to kill the Zoogs here, and then we'll see what happens after that. So what's William going to be doing? He has a vicious blow, and he has a furtive Zoog here. So I think if we try and get rid of this one as quickly as possible, so for his first action he's going to do a vicious blow which turns his 4 fight into 5. He has 5 versus 3. I don't think we want to be drawing thin on this one. No, we don't. No. So 5 versus 3, and the chaos bag says +1, so that's 2 points of damage, which is enough to kill the Zoog, and we get to place this and its sidekick, and we get to put that back at the bottom of our deck. So that was his first action. For second action, realistically we want to minimize how often the Zoogs special ability fires. Forced. Add 1 swarm card to each swarming Zoog enemy in play. Well, we've got this inconspicuous Zoog over here, and if that comes and joins us, then yeah, we don't really want that getting too many additional swarming on it. So I think our best bet is to try and kill it. Don't really have anything that does additional damage at the moment though. So what I think we'll do is we'll engage it for action. So that's our second action. And then for our third action we will attack it fight 4 versus 3. If we add on the hunt, that becomes 5 versus 3. Or I could use extra desperation to get 6 versus 3. Given we're not really set up for fighting at the moment, I think I'm going to play on the hunt for its single fight icon. So that gives me 5 versus 3. Chaos bag says 0. So that's 1 point of damage to the Zoog, and that is William's turnover. We discard on the hunt. Now Ursula hasn't gone yet, but what I'm going to do is she's going to move to Enchanted Woods, which has a Shroud of 4. Thanks to her special ability, because she's moved, she can take an investigate action for free. Because of field work, she gains +2 on that if we exhaust it. So that's what we're going to do. So that's 4, 5, 6. Oh, hang on. Let's have a think about this. If she forgoes her search action, she can gain +2 on her fight action against the Zoo, which would put her up to 3. No, I think in this case we're just going to, because if I go up to 3 I could potentially use, could potentially cause 1 point of damage to the Zoog. But I think we're going to have to take the Ancient Zoog's effect. Or I could attempt to hit it. So the first action was a move. Second action could be attempting to hit it, and third action attempt to hit it, which would kill it, potentially. This is what we want to do. Ooh, decisions. I think we're going to... The problem is, Ursula's fight is so appallingly low, at 1. We could maybe cause 1 damage, but the likelihood of us causing 2 is pretty small. So, I think we have to assume that the Zoog is going to fight next turn, so let's play a deduction. Employ our feed walk, which means if we succeed we gain 2 clues. So that puts us at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 versus the Enchanted Woods Shroud of 4. So 9 versus 4 means we succeed on anything except the Mythos token. So -1, we succeed and gain both clues. So 1, 2. So she gains both clues. Just put them there. So that was her second action. First action move. No, sorry, that was the first action, because the first action was moved and a free search. So for her second action, oh, hang on, she can also, seeing she just successfully investigated, she can also use Dr. Milan Christopher to gain a resource. Which means we can then bring out hyper awareness for her second action, which I will put here for now. So now I'll put it up here. And then for her third action, I think we will... Now we could move again, but that means the inconspicuous Zoog would come over and start damaging her, which is not a good idea. So I think for her third action... Actually no, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to leave hyper awareness in hand, and I'm going to spend 2 actions to discard the 13th vision. I think that's probably the best thing to do long term, and that's the end of her turn. So monster phase, starting with the Ancient Zoog. The Ancient Zoog does 1 damage and 1 horror. Well, we'll put 1 horror onto the Cherished Keepsake, and we'll take the 1 damage ourselves. And then, at the start of the enemy phase, if the Ancient Zoog is ready, which it is, add 1 swarm card. So, the inconspicuous Zoog gains an extra swarm card, and it is Hunter, so it moves from the Enchanted Woods to the Enchanted Path. So that's now becoming quite a beefy enemy. But I think in terms of, well, it's only got a fight of 2, so we can probably kill it, but we'll need to do something about that eventually. Anyway, end of the enemy phase, so it's on to end of turn. So everybody resets, everybody gains a resource, everybody draws a card. William gets kleptomania, his weakness. Revelation, put kleptomania into your play area. Kleptomania. For one action, you can take control of an item, asset or 2 resources from another investigator at your location and then shuffle it into your deck. Well, the only item at the moment is the magnifying glass, which, to be honest, with Milan Christopher out and the field work, Ursula doesn't strictly speaking need at the moment. And Ursula, she gains, oh no, Call of the Unknown, so that's 2 weaknesses in the same turn. So if she doesn't move to a new location, she takes 2 horror. Well, that kind of sucked. Anyway, back to the Mythos phase. 1 on Mythos track, on Doom track, and then we take an encounter card. And William gains Crypt Chill. Willpower 4 test. If he fails, discard an asset. Well, that's a point. I forgot to check my discard pile for assets, having killed that Zoog. Too late now. So willpower 4, I don't really have anything to help. Act of Desperation discards an asset anyway. So it's willpower 3 plus 0. So discard an asset. Drawing Thin is an asset. Ah! Oh, drat. If I thought I'd have done Drawing Thin on the Crypt Chill. Still, I think out of all of these, I am going to discard the Cherished Keepsake. Reason being that hopefully I'm going to kill the Zoog this turn, which means I can get it back into play for free. My other option is to do the same with Drawing Thin. But if I do it with Cherished Keepsake, that 1 horror vanishes. So I think that's what we'll do. So away with you, Mr. Porterson. And then away with Crypt Chill. And then Ursula draws Dreamlands Eclipse. If I investigate, I must either take 1 horror or plus 2 shroud. Well, I don't think I'm going to be doing much investigation this turn, so that's probably not too bad. So let's go and put that by the agenda deck, which is here. So all in all, that could have been worse, but having both our weaknesses in play is not the best of things, especially given we don't have any extra damage at the moment, and these Zoogs are beginning to proliferate. So we'll start with William, and he's going to take on the Zoog, and the ancient Zoog has a fight of 3 and he has a fight of 4, so he's +1 at the moment. Act of Desperation would make him +3, but we need to cause 2 damage, so I think what we'll do is, one way or the other, we are going to have to take an attack at only +1 at some point, but Act of Desperation gives us +X and +1 damage, so if I get rid of that and get rid of track shoes, I think. Yeah, we'll get rid of track shoes. That gives me +3 and +1 damage. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7 versus 3. The cast bag says +1. So the Zoog is killed. And oh, I forgot to reset these tokens. So that was his first action, killing the Zoog. For his, and as part of his power, wrong key. Part of his power, when he defeats an enemy, he can play an asset from the discard pile. And I think getting out, let's have a look what's in the discard pile, but I think Mr. Porterson's looking like a good bet. Not many assets in there at the moment, so it's either Cherished Keepsake or the Track Shoes. Well, Track Shoe gives us extra movement and extra evade, but what we're probably going to do is take some damage very shortly, so I think having Mr. Porterson come back is probably the best bet. And then we discard Act of Desperation. If the asset, if you succeed and the asset was in your play area, gain X resources. So that means I gain 3 resources. Oh, okay, I am quite happy with that. So that was the first action. So the question is, what do I do for my second action? Now, if I want to leave, I must choose and discard 1 card for each clue and exclamation. There are no clues. By hand, I have no cards in my hand anyway. So I think I'm going to Kleptomania here and take control of the magnifying glass. Then shuffle Kleptomania into your deck. So let's give that a good shuffle. So that's his second action. And then for his third action, he's going to come in down here, which means he has to engage with the Zoog. The Zoog is now doing quite significant damage, but fortunately our William is quite a robust chap, so hopefully the damage won't be quite as bad as it might otherwise be. Meanwhile, Ursula, she's going to move to Enchanted Path for her first action. Alright, beginning of turn, choose a location other than your location. So the location I'm going to choose is, that needs to go down here. That's 4 damage. Ooh, that's not nice. So the location I'm going to choose is this one here, the Enchanted Woods. So she moves 1, she moves her second move. And what did we get? We got the Lost Woods. If you do not leave this location before the end of the round, place 1 doom on the current agenda. Oh dear. Well, I can't. I could potentially move out again. But then I would take the doom from the horror from Call of the Wild, which I'm not particularly keen on taking, because it's too horror. Admittedly, I haven't taken too much horror at the moment. And doom is 6 actions. So I either take 1 doom or 2 horror. Well, I can take the 2 horror. But I could also clear the site of clues this turn. But then I can do that next turn by going 1, 2 and coming back again. So I think when all's said and done, I'm going to move Ursula back again and save myself that doom. Okay. So if you did not successfully when your turn ends, if you did not say take 2 horror, well, I'm going to put 1 horror on our friend Dr. Milan. I'll take 1 horror myself. I'm going to shuffle that back into my deck. It is quite unfortunate that both weaknesses have come out 2 rows. Both weaknesses have come out for Ursula, but at least we don't have to worry about them again. Okay, so that's the end of the hero's turn. So now we get the villain's turn, and the Zoogs do 4 health and 4 horror. That's pretty significant. I'll put 1 of the horror on Mr. Paulson. Ouch! That's really quite a nasty set of bites that he's taken there. Okay, then it's gain resource, draw a card. William draws guard dog. Ah, shame we didn't draw that last turn, but there you go. And Ursula draws I've got a plan. You deal +1 damage for each clue you have. Right, very interesting. But inconspicuous Zoog, you cancel excess damage and move it away, so you actually have to spend quite a lot of time to kill those. William's really taken quite a nasty bite from them. Well, let's see what next round brings us. So William first. Oh, first of all, we need to put a doom on the agenda. So we're 8 of 19 at the moment, so we have got time. The Dreamlands Eclipse gets discarded. We didn't really need to worry about it because the +2 Shroud I didn't investigate. So, encounter card is for William the Law of Igiroth. Law of Igiroth. You cannot commit skill cards with odd number of skilled items on them. Okay. Well, given I'm not about to commit any icons, that's not too bad. And then Ursula gains the Dreamer's Curse. Willpower 5, take 1 damage. Okay, so the base willpower is base willpower is 3. She did move to a new location. That's this phase. Okay, so she's got willpower 3. We don't have any willpower icons, unfortunately. So willpower 3 versus willpower 5, unlike in the past. +1 is 4. Oh, I'll take that. For each point you fail for, take 1 damage. So that was 1 damage. And while I could put it on Dr. Milan, I'm going to take that myself. Again, that could have been worse. Could have been far worse. Now it's the hero's turn. So William needs to start whittling down these Zoogs. So I think the first thing we're going to do now, if cancel all excess damage and move any of its exhausted. So if I play the dog, each one of them attacks me. But if each one's attacking me, I can allocate that damage to the dog. But it then says that forced, when inconspicuous Zoog is defeated, cancel all excess damage and move any of its remaining swarm hosts to a connecting location. So do they attack in turn, or do they attack all at once? I would imagine they attack in turn, one at a time. Highest fight first, I would imagine, or highest health first. So I bring out the dog, I take an attack of opportunity, the dog kills one of them, they then run away. I think that's how it works. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring out the dog. So for my first action, bring out the dog, bring out the guard dog, costing me 3 resources. The Zoog attacks, it bites the dog. The dog, as a reaction, deals 1 damage back, killing the Zoog. The Zoog then moves to a new location, exhausted. So where am I currently? William is currently in the Enchanted Woods. So he ends up exhausted. Well, if I put him in the Enchanted Woods, exhausted, Ursula's going to go there, take both clues, and then vanish off again, which means he comes back. And it means William potentially has to put Doom on the location. So I think the suspicious Zoog is going to this undiscovered Enchanted Woods. So these two join it there. And let's hope we don't get any more ancient Zoogs, because they are quite nasty with an inconspicuous Zoog. So that was his first move. His second action will be to move to the Enchanted Woods. What do we have here? +1 shout for each card in your hand. Okay, the stone trapdoor. Okay, which means this is exhausted at the moment. Which means his third action would have had to be to encounter it. You know what? No, we're going to slightly retrofit it. I'm going to, because it's exhausted. No, hang on, it's exhausted. So only unexhausted at the end of the turn. So yes, that's good. So that's his second action. His third action. It's only a Shroud of 2. Shroud of 3 for the card that he has in his hand. William has an investigative 2, but he has an investigative 3 at the moment with the magnifying glass. Now I could make it a 5 by drawing thin. Now, I'm not going to abuse drawing thin by ramping up the difficulty ridiculous amounts. Yes, exhaust drawing thin it says here, so let's exhaust drawing thin. Because my odds of getting 0 + 1 are pretty small, so let's go with that. So what was the power of the area again? +1 shout. So yeah, so it's difficulty 5. It's a shame really, because if it wasn't for this card in my hand, I might stand a chance of getting it. Difficulty 5 against 3. Chaos Bag says -2, so that's fine. I've failed. I can either draw a card or gain 2 resources. I have plenty of resources, so I'm going to draw 2 cards. Oh, and I forgot that I killed one of the Zoogs, so I can actually put a resource into play, which I think I will do. I will put track shoes into play for 3 resources. Okay. No, I only need 1 card. And that card is Resourceful. That's always nice to see a Resourceful, because I can put a card not named Resourceful from the discard pile into my hand. That is a Survivor card. So That's not looking too bad for... Move was his second action. Investigate was his third action. That's not too bad. Meanwhile, Ursula, she is going to move to the enchanted woods, the lost woods. Right. After you reveal this location, okay, so it's already been revealed, so Yorick could have gone there. But anyway, I'm going to investigate it. I have a 4, 5, and I'm going to tap this to give me a 7. Versus 4, so I'm 3 up, and the chaos bag says +0, so that's 1 clue gained. I'll remove the clue in a moment, and then I'm going to do the same again with my second action, because do bear in mind that was her special ability. So with my second action I have 5 versus 4, and I'm going to play a perception. Give me 7 versus 4. Chaos bag says, oh no! -4. So I don't even get to draw a card. And then for my final action, see, I quite like how I've got a plan, but 5 versus 4 is too slim an odds, so I'm going to have to pitch. I've got a plan, and what does the chaos bag say? Tablet. Tablet is not good news. What does tablet give us? -2. No, I succeeded. Thank goodness for that. So that's another clue, and I can discard that, and then I need to get rid of the 2 clues that are on the card. Oh, I want the clues, not the card. Get it right in a minute. Okay, so I've got both those 2 clues, but she stays there for the time being. Okay, so we now have 4 clues out of the required 10. Okay, so end of the turn. So monster phase, all the monsters are tapped. Zoog untaps. Oops. And moves to engage William. End of phase. William untaps everything. Oh, he gains a card. Bury them deep. Oh, that's quite useful. And gains a resource. So I don't know about you, but I think that Inconspicuous Zoog is a horrible card, especially. I've got another field book for Ursula, especially once ancient. So I think the Inconspicuous is horrible, especially once you get an ancient Zoog out. That's what William's damage tells us. So that's the end of the turn. Add 1 to the Doom track. 9 out of 19. Well, we're struggling for cards, but otherwise we don't seem to be too badly off. Let's see what the encounter deck has ready for us. And William gains Prismatic Phenomenon. First time you draw resource or play each round, it costs 1 additional action. If I successfully investigate a location, discard it. Okay. Not the... Oh dear, and you're of Igroth stops me playing odd number of skill tokens, which is the only ones I've got. That's not so good. And then Ursula gains Stealthy Zoog, Alert and Swarming 1. So these Zoogs are getting to be a pain now. Right, I'm just going to take a brief pause for a slurp of tea. Oh, and we better return this icon to the cat's bag. So Stealthy Zoog only has a fight of 1, so even Ursula might be able to kill it. What a shame that we had to pitch. I've got a plan, because that would have been ideal. Fortunately, she has field work. Okay, let's start with William. Draw, resource or play. Well, that's fine. I'm not planning to do any one of the 3 at the moment. So, the inconspicuous Zoogs. Let's reset William's action counters. Oh. So, let's get started by attacking this. Now this could be interesting, because if I attack the Zoog, so look at this again. Draw. So perform one of the actions including draw. Well, this says draw, so I'm going to assume that takes an action because of prismatic phenomenon. So what I could do is I could hit if I hit the Zoog, and it would scurry away, and I could gain. Okay. Or I could play resourceful. The Zoog bites my dog kills the Zoog. The other Zoog runs away. I could then gain back a card having got resourceful. I could then look for I could then gain a card back like Act of Desperation. So that would be my first action. Yes, then my second action would be to move. It would be to move, and I want to kill it as my third action, but I would be unengaged. Meanwhile, but Ursula is engaged with the Stealthy Zoog. Ursula is, get it right in a minute, 2 movement away. So what I could do is use track shoes to see if I can move to her location. So 1 to play resourceful, 2 to move, potentially 2 to move again, and then 3 I might be able to kill one of the Zoogs. Okay, this seems like a plan. I don't know if it's a smart plan or not, but let's go for it. So, because your Groth is commit cards to seal cards. I'm not committing a card for steel card, I'm playing this for its effect. Oh no, it is a skill card. Oh, drat. Right. And draw, resource or play is investigate. What I could do is move. Do I want to move? Yes, I guess I do, because the shroud's too high. So my first action is to move. Now the Zoog comes with me. The first Zoog attacks. The dog gets bitten. The first Zoog goes to there, and ooh, didn't think about that. I've still got another one left. Okay, well. And the Zoog is going to scurry away to here, along with its remaining companion. So that was my first move. I could move back and engage it, because that's now exhausted. No. Okay, so I have defeated a Zoog. So let's search my deck, see if I've got any assets. I think I have. No, don't have any assets. I could go back. So that was first, wasn't it? Move back. It's a second move. Engage it as a third. No. It's first move. Now then. After you move, but before any, exhaust track shoes, test 3. If you succeed, move to a location. Well, I can't commit any cards because of my law of Igiroth. So I have 3 plus 1 for the track shoes is 4. 4 versus 3. And the chaos bag says auto fail. For those who saw it very briefly. Well, if I'm going to auto fail, I suppose it's on that one. So that was for my first action. My second action is to come over to the Enchanted Woods. And these Zoogs have a fight of 1. So let us see if we can reduce them down by 1. So I have attack of 4. They have 1. I can't commit any cards, so I'm not going to commit drawing thin, tempting as it is. And the chaos bag says cultist. The cultist is -X, which is number of revealed enchanted wood locations. So that's a -3 at the moment. 1, 2, 3, because this is an enchanted path, not enchanted woods. So that is a success. So that Zoog is down to 1 card. 1. 11 cards left. Getting through these cards pretty quick. So